theme of today's session is differentiation. And what that means is that we are able to differentiate between different parts of the body doing different things at the same time. So, for example, our legs might be doing one thing while our head is doing something completely different. And this differentiation, it's a really important kind of mental skill to learn, or consciousness skill, I should say, to become conscious of two different things at the same time. One of the almost ironic facts is that if we can become aware of different parts of the body doing different things, we become more aware of how they're connected with each other and how they cooperate with each other. Each part of the body has its specific role within a movement. For example, it might be a role of stability, it might be a role of strength, it might be a role of stretching, it might be a role of relaxation. But all these different roles are important, and they all work together to create the whole. So in order to get a sense of the whole, we need to be able to sense the different parts operating within that whole. And I think that's something that applies in life as well. It doesn't just apply in our yoga practice, but we can use our yoga practice as a way of developing that skill for life. So that's going to be our focus today. We're going to do the plough, or certainly some of the preparatory movements towards the plough, even if you're not able to get your feet right down to the floor. And we'll also do the fish and some other things as well to help prepare the body and also the mind for these movements. So we will start in a standing position. So I'd like to come to the warrior positions because they're very strengthening and we haven't done them for a while. But we can also take our theme of differentiation into these positions and become aware of how different parts of the body play a different role. Let's start then with the legs, feet wide apart. One foot is you can take your right foot to point towards the end of your mat. But if you notice, the left foot, if you can see, is pointing outwards to the side. Or you can turn it, for this one, you can turn it slightly inwards so that your hips are facing directly forwards. And then take your knee down so that it's directly over your ankle. So the role of the legs is very much of strength. Your thighs are working, but you should have a good strength right through that back leg, and this other thigh, the bent one, will also be really strengthening as well. Also in this pelvic region, there should be strength. You can feel the kind of centering and gathering effect there. But the arms, on the other hand, are going to help to give us a sense of length and growth. Take the left hand onto your left leg and take the right arm up. Keep the breath flowing, keep the fingers relaxed. The hand gives more a sense of relaxation, while in the middle, we can really start to stretch. So active stretching, head is relaxed. So we've got strength below, stretching in the middle, and a relaxed head. Let's come back down again. Step forward. Take the other leg back. Good. The wider apart your feet are, the more strengthening it is. So you can choose the level. So good strong legs. You can really push into your back leg. Make sure that this thigh at the front is good and firm. And then this tightening, hips facing forwards, tightening in your pelvis. Take your left arm up now, and the right hand just resting on your leg at the back. And now the middle part of the body is more about stretching. The legs give strength and stability. The middle of the body is actively stretching. And then at the top, you can be relaxed in your head, relaxed in your hand, breath flowing. Come back again and step forward. Let's come to warrior two. Warrior two Now we face outwards. Again, you can have your right foot pointing towards the end of the mat and your left foot pointing directly forwards to the side of your mat. Once again, take your knee so it's directly over your ankle. And this time your hips are opened out to the side. So you'll feel a tightening happening in your sacrum at the base of your spine and your pelvic region. So once again, let's become aware of this sense of real stability and strength in this whole region from the waist downwards. And then once again, in the middle region, we want to have that sense of expansion. Let's take the arms out. In the head, we can feel more a sense of freedom. Let's just stay with that thought again. Stability below, expansion and openness in the middle, and freedom in the head. Let's just relax. Let's change the legs around to the other side. So foot is pointing to the left. Keep the pelvis twisted to be open. Take the knee directly over that ankle. Just pause for a moment to really feel that strength and firmness in your legs and a tightening in the whole pelvic region and the sacrum. Now, with the help of your arms, you can experience that sense of expansion outwards in your sides. And at the same time, keeping that head really free and relaxed. Your neck is relaxed. 3 different elements: stability, expansion, and freedom. Let's return again. Change over to the side once again. Right foot outwards, hips opened in a twist, knee coming directly over the ankle again. And this time, I'm going to take this arm up. The left arm comes up alongside your ear. We can have these same 3 regions: stability in the legs, expansion through the side, but then at the extremities, the relaxation, the fingers, the head, the neck. And then you can take your forearm onto your knee so that you really stretch right the way out through the left side of the body. Keep the breath flowing. The legs are really firm and stable. And you can really stretch and extend the middle of your body actively even more. But you can keep your head and your hands light. Take the arm back down. Keep the leg bent as you straighten up. And then straighten up the leg. Relax the arms. Take the other leg outwards. Keep those hips open. Take the knee down. Once again, you can build up that really good stability in your leg. Your hips should be open, facing the side of your mat. They shouldn't be facing your bent leg. They should be facing outwards to the side. So it feels almost like you're doing a twist. Take your right arm up alongside your ear now. And let's build up that sense of that stability below, that extension through your side, actively stretching up and keeping that freedom in your head. Take the arm to rest on your knee or on your thigh rather. And now actively extending through the whole of the right side of the body. Firmness in the legs. Stretching through your side, relaxation in the head and the hand. Let the breath flow. And return. Then straighten up the leg. Relax the arms. Let's do that one more time because it's one that you're less used to and it's also a very good strengthening one. So remember, the hips are not facing over the leg like that. They're twisted outwards. And then the knee comes directly over the ankle. If you found that you were okay with the last time round, you can make it more challenging by taking the feet further apart. It means that to get that knee directly ankle, you have to bend down a bit lower. Take the left arm right up to the side of your ear and then grow right through the side of the body, resting the forearm on top of your thigh. Once again, firm base. Active stretch right through the side. Relaxation in the head and the hand. Take the hand down, keep the knee bent, straighten up, and then straighten the leg. Change the legs around. Keep the hips open. Take the knee over the ankle. Keep that good twist in the hips. Take the right arm right up by your ear, and then you can come all the way over, stretching actively out. Breath flowing, so we've got a good firm, stable base with the legs, a real strength, and active stretching and lengthening. The head and face and hand free. Breath free. Come back down, keep the leg bent, straighten up, and then straighten up your leg and relax the arms. And take your hands together and just roll down and hang forwards. And then roll back up to the standing position, the standing half moon. Take the hands down. So even the rolling down forwards has a differentiation to it. It has a difference between these stable legs and this upper body, which can just relax. Let's do that again with a conscious awareness of differentiation. Come down like this. So you can experience your feet and your legs. They're really stable and firm. And by contrast, at the same time, you can experience the relaxation of your whole upper body, your spine, your neck, your head, your shoulders, your arms. Our theme today is to learn a differentiated awareness. Different parts of the body have a different function as part of the whole. So keeping the legs stable, you can swing lightly and freely up. Firm legs. The upper body now is free to stretch. It's free to grow and lengthen. And take the hands down by your sides. So we'll come to the standing head to knee position. We'll have a similar differentiation. The legs really firm. This region here really tightened and gathered. You're familiar with this. And then the upper body, by contrast, streams outwards. Just have a look before you do it so that you can get a sense of this differentiated picture. On the one hand, we've got a really good tightness and firmness with the legs. And on the other hand, we've got a kind of more of a sort of flowing quality in the upper body as it flows outwards. So let's stay with that as a differentiated picture. Firmness and flowing movement outwards. Be aware of that firmness of your legs right from the start. Just keep the upper body more free. Feet really grounded. Make sure your feet are parallel and not sort of out to the sides too much. Breath flowing. When you're ready, come right down into the position. The hands just flow out in front of you and you can look ahead. So now let's come to our differentiated picture. We have on the one hand that feeling of firmness of the feet,
the legs, and on the other hand, that sense of flowing movement outwards. Stay with that awareness, firmness and flowing. Relax down again. Come back up once again. Firm legs. A flowing movement upwards with the body. Take the hands down. So it's quite good to repeat this exercise. Let's take a similar thought. When we flow out, we can have the sense that the head has almost gone beyond. It's gone into a space beyond our usual limits. So we'll have this differentiation between the feet, which are staying really firmly placed in their position in the ground, and the head and arms and hands, which are going beyond our usual familiar position. Let's do it with that differentiation. So we can start once again with the feeling of those feet well placed, solid and grounded. And the head already right from the start, very free. And the hands also free and relaxed. Let's come once again into this movement where we flow out. Look ahead at your hands. And let's come to this thought again. The feet stay firmly rooted in the ground, while the head and the hands almost are moving out into something beyond. They're crossing over a threshold into a new kind of experience, a new world of experience. Feet versus head and hands. That's our differentiation. Relax down again. And then come just gently up with your body. Let's come back to that same thought. Feet are firmly in the ground, while the head and the hands are free in the space. And take the hands down by your sides. Let's come to the sun prayer. We're going to do the plough in a little while, so the spine needs to be very well warmed up for the plough. Particularly, we need to warm up this part of the spine between the shoulder blades here. So when we do the sun prayer now, we're going to take a thought that focuses on this specific region of the body. We're going to imagine that we're being drawn upwards out of the chest, like that. So breath flowing. Take the hands together. We can imagine that we're drawn upwards into the space above from the chest. Keep the head free. Take the hands down and look down towards the ground as if you're lengthened downwards with your chest. Take your right foot back. We've got different directions. Again, we can form a base that goes downwards with the legs. And then with the chest, we can flow and stream upwards through the arms, right through the fingertips. Take the hands down and then come into the firm line of the plank. Let's just pause this for a minute. This is a good strengthening one, particularly for the abdomen, but the difference you can feel is that the head is free. Now take the knees down, arch your back, drop your chest and your face right the way down, slide forwards along the ground. Let's be aware of that chest again, being drawn upwards as you open up into the cobra. The chest opens, the shoulder blades behind, almost drawn together. Then we can push into the downward dog. Long legs. Your chest can draw towards your knees so that the shoulder region again is stretched through. Now take your right foot forward between your hands. Take the back knee down. Once again, this differentiation here is that we form a base with our legs, and we can again have that lift of the breastbone flowing upwards through the arms and hands. Take the hands down, step forward, look down towards the mat. Good long legs and a lengthening spine. Come up once again, firm feet and legs. Think of that breastbone streaming upwards. And take the hands by your sides. Once again, hands together. Take the arms up, lifting the breastbone, streaming upwards. Take the hands down to the ground, looking down towards the mat. Take the left foot back. Bring the knees apart so you form a good base, sinking towards the ground with your legs. Then flowing upwards, think of that breastbone again, that chest being lifted up, flowing, continuing through the arms to the fingertips. Take the hands down. Come into the plank once again, a good firm strong line. Let's pause again so you can feel that contrast, another differentiation, strong body right through its length, free head poking off the end. Knees down, chest down, arching your back, slide forwards. And then lift up the chest, lift up the breastbone. There's a bit of tightening between the shoulder blades and that region of the spine. Push into downward dog. So a good length. Let's take a bit of time. Firm legs, chest drawing towards your knees so we get the length between the shoulder blades. Step forward with the left foot. Drop down with your legs to form the base. Be aware of that chest. Lifting, flowing up through the arms, fingertips light. Take the hands down. Take the other foot forward. Look down towards the mat. And then come up once again. Breath flowing, lifting the chest, streaming through the arms. And take the hands by your sides. Let's do one more round of the sun prayer because I think, as I just said, it's very important as a way of loosening up the upper spine to have a good warm up. We'll try doing it a little bit faster. I'll keep an eye on you to see if you're keeping up. But the idea behind doing it faster is that it gets more of a flow of energy and blood circulating. So it's more warming, which is again very helpful for the plough. When we do the plough, we want the spine to be flexible and mobile in all its sections. So let's think now of this idea of flexibility and mobility. Let's imagine that the movement is always flowing, always moving, never stopping, but always kind of morphing from one movement into the next movement. Let's imagine that the whole body and the movements are very fluid. Feet together, hands together. Take the arms up and let's grow.
streaming upwards. Then we can take the hands down, look down at the floor, and imagine we're flowing down towards the floor. Now take the right foot back, forming a base. We can flow into the legs, and we can flow upwards, lengthening through the body, and then take the hands down again, and then come into the plank, making a line. Take the knees down, the chest down, the forehead down, stretching between the shoulders, curl forwards, curl upwards. Push into the downward dog, forming a good length right the way through. And then take the right foot forward, growing into both your legs, flowing right up through the spine and the arms to the fingertips. And then take the other foot forward, flowing down towards the ground. Flowing upwards once again, lengthening through, breathing, stretching, streaming through. And then take the hands down by your sides. Hands together. Taking the arms up, flowing through the length of the body. Take the hands down, looking down towards the mat, growing and lengthening. Left foot back, lengthening through the legs. Streaming upwards, flowing right up. Remember, keep that thought of the body being fluid and mobile. Let's come into the plank, forming that line. Then take the knees down, take the chest down and the forehead down. Flow through the hands and opening into the cobra. Then into the downward dog, and we can think of it growing longer and longer through the spine, your bottom growing up higher. Now take the left foot forward, legs moving apart. Take the arms up, stretching and lengthening right through the spine and arms to the hands. Then take the hands down again, step forward, looking down towards the ground, growing down, and then flowing up, lengthening and growing upwards, and take the hands by your sides. So we'll do one more movement before we come to the plough, and this one is the lying triangle, lying on your back. We can come back again to our theme of differentiation for this exercise. That's why I've chosen this one. And we have here a threefold different, well, yeah, we do. The center of this movement is here, the solar plexus. You're all familiar with the solar plexus. And beneath the solar plexus, the whole leg region is strongly active. We grow outwards. We make a really firm movement through both legs. And above the solar plexus, we have just a very light line that finishes off this triangle. You can take your hand to your leg, ankle, foot, wherever you can reach. So just start in a good straight line, lying on your back. You have your solar plexus region, that's your central point. Above that region, you can feel the movement of your breath. It should be light and free. And now you can take one leg up into this firm triangular movement. Grow actively into both legs. And then by contrast, you can take the hand up to finish off the triangle wherever you can reach it. And just remain aware now of this differentiation between the legs that are really firm and the head, arm and hand and shoulders, all of which are relaxed and light. Come back again. Be aware of your center, the solar plexus. And be aware of your breath. And now the other side. Firm movement up with the legs, growing into both legs. Finishing off that triangle just with a light movement with the arm and hand. Breath flowing freely, shoulders relaxed. Legs really firm and strong. Come back down again. Just pause for a moment. Let's really become aware of the legs. When they're both down, you can feel how your legs are straight. And you can even try and push away into your heels. As you do that, you feel how the knees tighten. You feel how your thighs tighten. So just with this tiny movement, lying down, pushing into your heels, you can get a feeling of building strength into both legs. So relax the breathing, relax the shoulders, face and neck. And now take your first leg up again and do that same pushing activity, pushing into your heel, both of the horizontal leg and also of the raised leg. And now, keeping the arm really light, just take the arm up towards your foot or gently taking hold of the ankle or the leg. But see if you can really keep those legs firmly pushed outwards. Come back down again. Keep the breath free, shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed. And the other side. Pushing firmly into your legs. And then lightly taking up the arm. Face relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And come back down again. Just relax your feet and legs. Relax your chest, shoulders, arms, neck, head and face. So we'll come finally to the plough. And we're going to do this several times. We're going to prepare, first of all, just with a simple version. To do this, you can take your legs over your head. And you have a choice with your arms. You can either keep your arms on the ground, or you can support the base of your back with your hands. Or if you're able to, you can take first one arm and then the other arm up above your head. Now we're going to already have a content of differentiation in this movement. And the content is that on the one hand, we have a calmness. We try and become calm. We can feel the calm ground supporting us. We can feel our breath giving us calmness. But on the other hand, we can also start to find a little bit of gentle movement, dynamic movement. So on the one hand, we feel that calmness of the ground. On the other hand, we feel that gentle flowing movement. Okay, so would you like to come into that first position? The legs are over your head. And then you can decide, you can take your time, find your stability, decide whether you want to keep your hands behind you, whether you want to support your back with your hands, or whether you want to take them over your head. If you can take them over the head, if you can keep your balance, then it's actually more relaxing for the neck and shoulders. So once you've found the position that you're going to hold, let's come to our thought that gives us the differentiation. And that is that on the one hand, we feel the calmness of the ground underneath us. We want to keep that feeling all the time. But at the same time, we can start to feel a gently dynamic movement. So you can gently start to stretch your spine upwards, just as if it flows. So there's no forcing because we've got that feeling of calmness of the ground. But there's calmness combined with a gentle flowing dynamic of the spine as it lengthens upwards. Both elements work together. Breath flowing, the body flowing. The spine flows upwards. Before you come down, you might like to take your hands behind your back once again to support it so that you can come down in a more controlled way. Okay, we're going to do several repetitions of the plough. So in between, we can do a counter pose to stretch out the spine. Let's do the half bridge. For that one, you can take your feet wide apart and take the ankles if you can, otherwise keep the hands firmly on the ground. The wider apart your feet are, the easier this one is. And you can arch your back. The point of this is to really try and arch your spine. You can even bring the shoulders towards each other and bring a really good tightening through the spine. Free movement of breath. Neck and head and face relaxed. And come back down again. So you can have a look over here for our next plough variation. And this one is going to be to spread the legs wide apart. So this time we're going to put our hands on the middle of the back there. And we're again going to have a content of differentiation, which I will show you. So on the one hand, when we come into this position, we feel quite closed in. The head is looking in towards the chest. But our differentiation content is that we're also going to have an experience of opening out. And the openness is felt not only in the legs, but right through the sides, as if there's a movement up and out. So we've got a sense of closeness into the chest and openness up and out through the legs. Now this movement, it doesn't just stay still, but once again it grows. But we stay with that differentiated thought, the closeness of looking in and the openness of expanding outwards. The legs can come out farther and farther and farther. So you can keep the legs in the air. I mean, if you are able to even bring them down to the floor, then that's fine, but it doesn't matter whether you do or not. The main thing is to feel that contrast of closing in and opening out, working together. So if you'd like to have a go at that next step. So before you start with the leg movement, just pause to become aware of the first half, that first experience, and that is the experience of being closed in, almost constricted as you look in at your chest. And then you can open your legs outwards Again, quite actively. Like when we did the lying triangle, I asked you to grow actively through your legs. It's the same thing now. You can try and straighten out your knees so that you're growing through the backs of your legs towards the heels, really quite actively. And then in this position, you can experience that contrast of feeling on the one hand of being closed in, and on the other hand, of spreading yourselves out into an openness. This openness through your sides, you can feel the breathing there, and also the legs are spreading out wide. Closeness and openness together. And gradually, the more you stretch, the more you can then see if the feet come towards the floor, but it really doesn't matter either way. Okay, so to come out of the position, just close your feet again and support your back with your hands as you roll back down. And let's come back into the half bridge once again. Taking hold of the ankles, feet wide apart. Breath flowing freely. You can feel your head and shoulders and neck resting on the ground. You can arch as high as you can with your hips. Breath flowing. Feeling a good tightening through the spine. And come back again. Right. So for the next variation, we'll come to the full plough for those for those of you for whom it is possible. Although if you can't do the full plough, it doesn't matter, because again we're moving towards the plough. But I want to give you a picture, and this time you can imagine an old-fashioned plough that is being pulled along the ground by an ox. And well, actually the ox is going to be going that way, and the plough is going to be dragged by the soil in the opposite direction. So you can think of that. The ox is pulling the plough away, and the earth is dragging the plough in the opposite direction. So our differentiation is these two directions of movement. And this is what draws the body into this lengthening stretch. The bit that is attached to the ox is the feet, and the feet are drawn away. The bit that is in the earth is the hands and the arms. So if you picture that now, how your ox is drawing the feet away from you, but the hands are being pulled in the opposite direction by the heavy earth. And that brings a lengthening. And you may or may not get your feet to the floor, but that doesn't matter. We'll stay with this picture, the lengthening right through in one direction, and the arms growing along the ground in the other. This is quite an intense stretch of the spine, but as I say, you shouldn't do it to the extent that you feel your neck overstretching. It's just whatever is right for you, your limit. So you can start then lying on your back and take your legs up in the air and just push up as you normally do. And then if you're able to clasp your fingers, you can do. Otherwise, you can just keep the hands flat on the ground. If you can clasp the fingers, it's a bit easier because it gives you a pull. It's more easy to get that feeling of the earth pulling your hands away. So then you have to come to your mental picture. The ox is pulling the feet forwards, while the earth is dragging the hands backwards. And so you have two contrasting directions of movement that work together to create this stretch through the back of the whole body. The breath always flows freely, and you're being dynamically grown and pulled into a longer and longer movement. Spine is being lengthened. And from this movement, you can now support your back with your hands, and you can come straight up into the shoulder stand. Keeping your head and your neck firmly on the ground. And we can come back to the first thought that we had, resting on the one hand with the ground, and a dynamic flowing upwards of the body on the other hand. You can stay with that differentiated thought. The ground gives you a calm sense of resting. The body has within it a natural, dynamically flowing movement. These two elements work together, calmness and dynamic. And come back down again. So now we'll come to the fish. The fish is a very good counterpose for the shoulder stand and the plough because it opens the body outwards, having been closed in. And it's also a very good exercise for this theme of differentiation. In the fish, we have a very active region here. The shoulder blades are squeezed together, the chest is opened out, whereas the other parts of the body are more relaxed. That's our differentiation. Let's just prepare by bringing a good squeezing into the shoulder region. If you take your hands behind you like that, and you can lean back a little bit. If you slide them backwards so you're leaning back, then you can squeeze, see if your shoulder blades literally, if they can squeeze together, and you can get that feeling of lifting your chest. You don't need to drop the head back, just keep it in a comfortable position. Okay, and relax again. So I think you all know the fish. I'm just going to demonstrate it again. It can help to get this region more open if we really build up to the fish very thoroughly. So first of all, you can come up like this, and you can lift the rib cage, you can lift the chest, and then the differentiation is that the head is relaxed. The legs also, not too tense, not tense like that, but just comfortably together. So the active part is between the shoulder blades. So you come and take your arms right underneath your body like this. Your palms are side by side. Legs are straightened out. When we do the fish, we just want a tidy togetherness with the legs. The feet should be together, not dropping outwards, but together. But the thighs shouldn't be too tense. The head is just relaxed. So now let's come up onto the elbows. And at this stage now, you can build up the activity in the spine. Lift up your rib cage first, right up high. Then lift up your chest, drawing the shoulder blades together. Finally, drop back the head. Lower it gently down onto the mat. So now we can come to a differentiated picture. And that is that you're really active between your shoulder blades and relaxed in your head and your face. Legs flowing along the ground. Just come back down again. Just draw your knees up into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. Right, so can you just have a look over here? So I was watching you just now, and what I noticed was that some of you had your arms a bit sticking out of your body, and what that means is that when you can't really get such a good openness. So I think it's quite important when you prepare, if you can get your hands right underneath your body. What I tend to do is actually clasp my thumbs together, so I keep the hands side by side, and you don't have to, I don't actually clasp the thumbs, but I have the hands right next to each other and the shoulder blades drawn in as close as possible. And as you can see, I'm right on top of my arms. The elbows don't come outside the sides of the body. So the body is really narrow, that your shoulder blades are drawn together. It's a tightened, narrow body, and that way you can find much more activity to really push that chest up higher. And the head is relaxed. So would you like to have another go and see if you can get into a really good starting position by bringing your arms as close together as you possibly can, so that you're actually lying on top of your elbows. Think of squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, because if the shoulder blades come together, you can get your arms closer. Straighten out your legs once again, once you've got that position. Make sure that the feet are together, but the thighs aren't too tense. So now you can come up onto your elbows, and you can now do this stage of lifting your rib cage up. You push your ribs right up forward and your chest, then drop the head gently back, right down till the top of the head comes onto the mat. Breath flowing. Good. So now you can feel you've got a really tightened activity between your shoulder blades at the top of your spine, and at the same time a gentle openness and a relaxed head, and the legs just flowing along the ground. And then you can come back down again. Just hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And would you like to just straighten out your legs for a short period of relaxation to finish off? And when we're lying and relaxing, we can also have a thought of differentiation. On the one hand, you can feel the ground underneath you. And on the other hand, you can feel the air around you, the space around you. Two elements: an element of stability, calmness, firmness, support, and an element of spaciousness, freedom, movement. by becoming aware of these different aspects at the same time, it helps us to also become aware of how they are connected and work together as part of a whole. The ground and the earth, the ground of the earth and the air in the space above are dependent on each other. And let's finish our session there.